Welcome to this emergency management course for plumbers. Here we're going to take a look at the most common plumbing emergencies, the reactive methods to emergency management, the proactive methods to emergency management, as well as various recovery methods for you to ensure that you have business continuity as well as occupational health and safety management after any incident or accident as well as emergency situation. The definition of an emergency is any unplanned event that threatens employees, customers, or the public, or that shuts down business operations, or that causes physical or environmental damage. Let us clarify what the definition of an emergency is. In order to be defined as an emergency, the situation should threaten life, health, property, or environment, have already caused a loss of life, put the health of people in danger, damaged property or the environment, or have a high possibility to escalate and cause danger or loss of life, loss of property, and danger to the environment. Let us start off by reading Section 24 of the Occupational Health and Safety Act under Report to Inspectors regarding certain incidents. This is the legislation for reporting of occupational incidents and accidents. Each incident occurring at work or arising out of or in connection with the activities of persons at work or in connection with the use of plant or machinery in which or in consequence of which any person dies, becomes unconscious, suffers the loss of a limb or part of a limb, or is otherwise injured or becomes ill to such a degree that he is likely either to die or suffer a permanent physical defect, or likely to be unable for a period of at least 14 days either to work or to continue with the activity for which he was employed or is usually employed, a major incident occurred, or the health or safety of any person was endangered, and where a dangerous substance was spilled, the uncontrolled release of any substance under pressure took place, machinery or any part thereof fractured or failed, resulting in flying, falling, or uncontrolled moving objects, or machinery ran out of control, shall within the prescribed period and in the prescribed manner be reported to an inspector by the employer or the user of the plant or machinery concerned, as the case may be. In the event of an incident in which a person died or was injured to such an extent that he is likely to die or suffer the loss of a limb or part of a limb, no person shall without the consent of an inspector disturb the site at which the incident occurred or remove any article or substance involved in the incident therefrom, provided that such action may be taken as is necessary to prevent a further incident, to remove the injured or dead, or to rescue persons from danger. The provisions of subsection 1 and 2 shall not apply in respect of a traffic accident on a public road, an incident occurring in a private household, provided the householder forthwith reports the incident to the South African police, or any incident which is to be investigated under Section 12 of the Aviation Act of 1962. A member of the South African Police to whom an incident was reported in terms of subsection 3b shall forthwith notify an inspector thereof. When incidents or accidents happen, there are a few things that must be done. Two of these things are recording or recording and reporting. Recording. Any incident, regardless of its severity, should be recorded and kept as records for incident and accident management. This is a great tool to identify where risks are creeping through our safety management system. The second part is recording and reporting. Under Section 24, incidents and accidents, as they are called, are incidents or accidents that fit the criteria in this section of the Act. The Department of Labor requires companies to record these on an Annexure 1 form and report them using the correct reporting forms. Now, these may vary depending on who you have registered your COID or compensation with. We'll learn more about the entire compensation in General Administrative Regulations 9, Annexure 1 document, as well as the Department of Labor, FEM, RMA, COID forms in this course, which is Conduct an Investigation into Workplace Safety, Health and Environmental Incidents. But take note that records need to be kept for a period of at least 3 years. This is all based on the legislation found in the General Administrative Regulations Section 9 of the Occupational Health and Safety Act. Now, Section 24 states that certain incidents and accidents must be reported to the Department of Labor. These are incidents or accidents that arose from their work or even in connection with their work. So even if a person was not working with a power tool, but someone in the vicinity was, and the employee was injured by that power tool, it's still in connection with their work, and thus needs to be reported. Where any person dies, becomes unconscious, suffers the loss of a limb or part of a limb, or is injured or becomes ill to such a degree that they are likely either to die or to suffer a permanent physical defect, or even if they are unable to work for a period of at least 14 days, these must all be reported. They generally are reported by the employer or the user of the machinery. Other incidents that must also be reported to the Department of Labor are a major incident, or where the health and safety of any person was endangered. This is an interesting one, because the person was not actually injured. In this case, their health or safety was endangered. That means there was a high possibility for the person to have been seriously injured. These also need to be reported so that even potentially harmful incidents or accidents can be investigated and hopefully mitigated. Then, where a dangerous substance was spilled, the uncontrolled release of any substance under pressure took place, machinery or any part of machinery fractured or failed, resulting in flying, falling, or uncontrolled moving objects. And lastly, where machinery ran out of control. Now, you may wonder, who must report these incidents or accidents to the Department of Labor? Well, they must be reported to an inspector by the employer or the user of the plant or machinery. So if you are an employee and were the user of the plant or machinery, you also have an obligation to ensure that the incident or accident is reported to the Department of Labor. When must these be reported? The above mentioned incidents under Section 24A, B, and C should be reported immediately to the Provincial Director. It should be done by telephone, fax, or similar means of communication. They should also be reported to the Provincial Director within 7 days using the correct forms. If the injured person dies, the employer or user shall notify the Provincial Director of the death by fax or similar means of communication. The incident site may not be disturbed without the consent of an inspector in the case where a person dies, loses a limb or part of a limb, is likely either to die or be disabled. Action may be taken as is necessary to prevent a further incident, to remove the injured or dead, or to rescue persons from danger. However, this does not apply to traffic accidents on public roads, incidents at a private household, or accidents according to the Aviation Act. The investigation should be performed by one of the following persons: the employer or user of machinery, a person appointed by the employer to investigate the incident, the health and safety representative of the work area, a member of the Health and Safety Committee. The investigation should officially start within a period of 7 days and be finalized as soon as is reasonably practicable, or within the contracted period in the case of a contracted worker. An employer must ensure that the incident or record be examined by the Health and Safety Committee.